providing a platform for them to be future global stars. Today is a special day for us in our project as we are building something different in Anambra State by setting up a club that will match not just a Premier League size in Nigeria, but at the highest level of football. And this is the first step for this dream, which is in the form of unveiling our new jerseys for the new season. We have under 17 team, under 19 side are playing in the NLO and the All-Stars team, and the essence is to make impact not just at the grassroots but all levels of football. And we are trying to take our youth off at the street through football by providing a platform for them to become future world stars. Nwangu stated the Peace FC chairman urged other football stakeholders to help recreate the days when Anambra State used to have many players playing for the national teams, as there are wonderful and amazing talents at the grassroots level too, yet to be discovered. Eulogizing the club for the heroics, a top football administrator in the state and proprietor of Jimbas Football Club of Ihiala, Prince Michael Mbezwe, described the club as well-organized football structure seeking to make reviews in the round leather game with their football programs and activities. Mbezwe thanked Peace FC for their contributions towards the growth of the game, while urging other football stakeholders to borrow a leaf from their ideas and innovation. Peace FC later on the day defeated Puma All-Stars FC of Onitsha by 2 unreplied goals scored through the boots of Celestine Obide Malo and Emmanuel Chukwu Emeka. That's for Peace FC. Well, we caught up with the chairman of Peace FC at the Oka City Stadium. We had a session with him as regards what the club is doing. Let's get to watch this.
As you can see, I think from the onset, we are building something different in Anambra State. We are trying to set up a club that will match not just Premier League size in Nigeria. We are looking at getting to the highest level of football. So this is the first step for it, unveiling our new jerseys for the new season. We have the under-17 team. We have a team who is currently playing in the NLO. And we have the under-19 sides equally. Peace FC, from this moment, we are moving to the next level. If you look at the turnout for today, you know that
painful considering the discussion he had recent time with the Kaduna-born federal lawmaker concerning possible areas of partnership between the committee which the lawmaker headed and the office of the Nigeria Pillar of Sports. The Nnewi-born sports philanthropist described the passion the later lawmaker had for grassroots sports development as massive, saying decision by his fellow lawmakers to make him chairman of the House Committee on Sports was well-informed one, considering his previous involvement in sports development, especially at the grassroots level. Honorable Adams, it will be recalled, was the general manager of Kada City Football Club and Remo Stars Football Club of Ijebu-Ode at different times before winning the House of Representatives seat in the 2023 general elections. While praying for the family he left behind, his loved ones and his colleagues at the Green Chamber of the National Assembly and his constituencies at the Anambra-born business mogul, pray for the soul of the deceased lawmaker to be reposed in the bosom of the Almighty God. And we say, may the soul of that man, Honorable Ekene Adams, the House Committee Chairman on Sports at the Federal House of Representatives, rest in peace. Moving away from that, now let's talk about some Super Eagles news. And Steve McLaren is one of the 3 coaches we hear that reportedly interviewed by the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, for the vacant national team job. According to report, the NFF is still searching for a successor to Finidi George, who stepped down as the head coach last month over the governing body's decision to bring in a foreign technical advisor in the wake of the Super Eagles poor start to the 2026 World Cup qualifier qualifying campaign. Hervé Renard was immediately linked with the vacancy, although the NFF dismissed her claims that that contact had been made with the Frenchman. However, reports have emerged that discussions have taken place with Renard as well as McLaren and Thomson Fier. And McLaren is currently part of Eric Ten Hag's coaching staff at Manchester United, where he previously served as Sir Alex Ferguson's assistant. He managed England from August 2006 to November 2007 before being sacked after failing to qualify for Euro 2008. Somfie is vastly experienced on the international scene, having coached Namibia, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Malawi, Togo, and Gambia on the African continent. And the Belgian is currently in charge of the Philippines national team, and he was on the verge of landing the Super Eagles post in March 2012 after being named as a technical director by the NFF, only for the sports ministry to overrule the appointment. Moving away from that, let's tell you that Nigeria and superstar Victor Osimhen has agreed to join French champions PSG from Italian side Napoli. And PSG are known to be searching for a replacement for Kylian Mbappe, who recently left the club for the Spanish champions Real Madrid. According to Italian football journalist Fabrizio Romano, Osimhen has agreed to move to the Parisians, but the club is yet to reach an agreement with Napoli over his transfer fee. And Osimhen is contracted to Napoli until June 2026, and his deal has a 130 million euros buyout clause, and he has also been linked with English clubs Arsenal FC and Chelsea FC. Regarded as one of the best strikers in the world, the 25-year-old has scored 76 goals in 133 matches across all competitions for Napoli. He has also netted 21 goals in 35 international matches for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That's the story of Victor Osimhen, and we now hear that he's about to go to that club at PSG. We'll be watching out for that. Whenever he signs on the dotted lines, I'll be sure we'll tell you on the sports show. Let's move on now and tell you that Nigerian star Antoinette Tony Payne has put pen to paper on a contract with English side Everton, and the Super Falcons winger joined the Women's Super League as a free agent, having spent the last 6 years as Spanish side Sevilla. The 29-year-old Payne contributed 30 goals and 21 assists in 169 appearances for Las Rojiblancas. And the Super Falcons midfielder further highlighted the rapid development within the league and the Everton growth, and said, "I'm impressed with how the league is investing in teams and the league itself. I see such a rapid growth, and it's something that I'm really excited and eager to be part of." You can see just how much the players are growing here at Everton. She stated Payne will be part of Nigeria's squad for the women's football tournament at the upcoming 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, France. Moving on now, let's go to the continent and tell you that the body in charge of football on the continent, that's the Confederation of African Football, will be debt-free next year, according to report, as a result of improved governance since Patrice Motsepe became the president of the toxic body, and that was in 2021, says its Secretary General Veron Mosengo Omba, installed as a deputy just days after the South African billionaire was appointed President. Mosengo Omba says CAF's level of debt when the pair took over was about $40 million US dollars. He says that the figure has more than half since, with the tally set to drop even further when CAF's financial accounts are presented later this year. And the CAF financial year runs from the start of July to the end of June, with accounts traditionally presented to Congress in October, meaning the organization could be debt-free in just under 12 months. Mosengo Omba, who hails from DR Congo but who also holds a Swiss nationality, says that credit for the turnaround must go to the 62-year-old. Now, moving on, still on the African scene, the Tongolese Football Federation, the FTF, have finally found a replacement for Paulo Duarte after announcing Nibombe Dare as the new head coach of the national team. Duarte brought an end to the 3-year tenure with the Sparrow Hawks when he resigned in June to take up the reins of a Saudi Premier League side Al Kholoe, and the Portuguese tactician departed the Togo, sitting fourth in Group B of the qualifying for the 2026 World Cup after failing to win any of their opening 4 matches, having drawn 1-1 with South Sudan before suffering a 1-0 defeat to DR Congo last month. And Dare won over 50 caps for the West Africans as a player, and he stood out amongst the list of Togo League's candidates during a rigorous evaluation by the FTF. And the 44-year-old was not present at the press briefing to announce his appointment, but he is set to finalize the details of his contract with the FTF upon his arrival in Lome. And Dare has been tasked with qualifying for the 2025 African Cup of Nations and will begin his reign against Liberia in the month of September. Now, moving on, let's tell you that the United States came from 16 points down, that's in basketball, to avoid one of the biggest shocks in basketball history in a dramatic 101-100 victory over South Sudan in London. What a shock it would have been that South Sudan defeated USA in basketball. That would have been a big shocker. And South Sudan led 58-42 in the second quarter before taking a 14-point lead into the break in an Olympic warm-up game at the O2 Arena. And the US went on a 16-0 run to end the third quarter with a 5-point lead but South Sudan battled back to go 1 point ahead with 20 seconds remaining in the game. But LeBron James, as you can see on your screen, hit a crucial layup to put his side ahead by 1 point with 8 seconds to go, and South Sudan could not hit a late winner. And the USA are targeting a 5th consecutive men's basketball gold medal at this summer's Olympics in Paris, while South Sudan, ranked at 33rd in the world, will play in their first game. What a shocker it would have been. And the United States and South Sudan will face each other in Group C of the 2024 Olympics come the 31st of July. It was a big friendly match for South Sudan, playing a team that they will play in the Olympics, and they just lost by 1 point at the end of the buzzer, 101-100. Kudos to South Sudan, just losing by 1 point to champions that had the likes of LeBron James. And LeBron James had to leave it late, 20 seconds to the end of the game, as the US won by 101-100 against South Sudan, a team ranked at 33rd in the world. And quickly now to tennis, quickly to Formula 1 first, before we wrap up with tennis. Oscar Piastri took his maiden Grand Prix victory in a McLaren 1-2 ahead of Lando Norris in a dramatic race in Hungary amid a heated row over the team orders, and behind them in a race full of seesawing action, old drivers Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen collided as they disputed third place, and both continued, but Hamilton held on to third, and the Red Bull driver, his race full of radio messages peppered with swearing, dropped back to finished fifth behind Ferrari's Charles Leclerc. And McLaren's team orders controversy unfolded as they tried to manage their way to a 1-2, their first since the 2021 Italian Grand Prix. It may interest you to know. And finally, from the world of tennis, let's tell you that world number 51, Nuno Borges, defeated Rafael Nadal 63-62 to 6-3-6-2 to win the Swedish Open in Bastide. And Spaniard Nadal, 22-time Grand Slam champion, slipped to a resounding defeat in his first final since 2022, and hampered by injury in recent years. The 38-year-old had fallen to 261 in the rankings and opted against playing at Wimbledon this summer to prioritize the Olympics. And the Olympic tennis tournament begins in Paris on 27th July. And Nadal has said playing at Roland Garros, where he has won 14 French Open titles, is his main goal this year. But the Olympics is here. Let's see what Rafael Nadal will do on that front. I wish him all the very best as he continues with his career. That's about the size of the show this morning, Sports Splash on ABS TV, the Monday edition. Thank you very much for being here. The show continues tomorrow with another episode. My name is Ike Nwokede. Have a lovely week, and remember to keep sporting. Bye-bye now.